paintings. It's paint applied to something and then put inside of a frame. And the paintings that I've made are almost like objects. You know, they're thick, they're heavy, they have a mass to them, they have a depth to them, a physical depth, not just an illusion of depth.
For a while there, he had a lot of animals in his paintings and stuff. And then those animals turned into self-portraits with animal parts, like his head would be on a bird, you know, but the bird wouldn't necessarily have the right legs. They would have a wheel and stuff like that. So they sort of changed into that, which was very interesting.
So I went out to the Southwest in 1992 to look at petroglyphs. So I went around the Four Corners region a lot, and you know, just sat in the desert and sketched these petroglyphs and did a lot of photographs of them. And a lot of those petroglyphs are on a volcanic rock called basalt. There's basically two kinds of volcanic rock that's common, pumice and basalt. And I got it home, and I had a friend who was a restoration carpenter and had a rock crusher. And he said, well, why don't we grind it up? So we took some of the rock and ground it up. And just on a whim, I mixed it with paint, and it kind of all started from there.
Yeah, I don't know of anyone who's working in Bob's medium, the crushed volcanic rock. The iconography and the sort of lost languages that he creates, you know, the sort of primal aspect of his work in a contemporary fashion really goes back to the roots of when people first started creating art. Started representing Bob's work in 1995, 96, so 15, 16 years. I personally own one of Bob's works in my collection. I don't own very many of the artists that I represent, but I own one of Bob's works. It's one of his earlier works, and tends to be one of the works that's a little bit more geometric and more abstract in nature.
If you use just one granularity mixed in with the paint, it'll look like paint mixed in with some kind of gravel. So what you do is mix several different consistencies of the volcanic rock together so that it makes a richer kind of medium. This is acrylic matte gel. It's an acrylic polymer emulsion, and it's the base for the material that I make. When I first started to use this technique, I actually brought home a piece of volcanic rock from the Southwest and crushed it and started that way. But not everybody has a rock crusher. And then I take the medium that we mixed. You can see that the volcanic rock, even though it's just this gray, pasty stuff, it really makes the paint have a different vibration to it. It makes it actually richer. You would think that it would dull it down, but it makes it pop. Sometimes in the image you actually want a line, and as you can imagine, it's pretty hard to draw a line with this. So what I'll do is mix up a batch with just the fine grain volcanic rock and mix it in a color, and I'll use a syringe. So I've modified syringes by cutting off the edges depending on how thick I want the line. Just load it in there and actually draw with a syringe. But I spent so much time, studying metaphysics and ancient spirituality and things like that, metaphysics, and when I came up with this idea of using the earth as part of the painting medium, it all started to make sense to me because, well, for one thing, it's sort of an alchemical nature to it. There's this stuff that was liquid in the belly of the earth, and now it's solid that I hold in my hand. So that was kind of appropriate for the imagery.
Each body of work is something new for me and something new to learn about myself.